Sorry about that wait, everybody. I know that was a particularly long wait. I know. I'm sorry about that. Sorry. Also, I'm sorry that Parvision's not here, but he should be joining soon. I told him to join a little bit delayed so that so we can have our own private convo first. If you were hoping for Parvision at the very start of the stream, then I guess I probably just disappointed you. But don't even worry about that. Parvision will be in shortly. Someone is saying only 21 minutes late. No, because I changed the time to 7:15. What's the point of me changing the time of the stream, the scheduled time of the stream, if everyone just says I'm the same amount of late anyway? Doesn't make any sense to me. Memoji says, bro, it's 2:22 a.m. God knows what time zone this person is in, but we don't cater to that time zone, that's for sure. 2:22 a.m.? Where are you? Are you like in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean? Are you on a small life raft? DR says Yamato is born to stay, LMAO. Yeah, okay. Let's all celebrate real quick. Everybody like the stream in celebration of Yamato not joining. That is a small W for the story, I would say. It's not a W for any individual, because I just didn't want Yamato to join just because I didn't want Yamato to join. All right? For me, I think that the story is much better with her not joining the crew. Keenan says, Morj, you're going to take your Yamato W. It is shameful for me to try and take a W in an arc where the raid did not fail. So I'm just saying it's more so a W for the story. You know what I mean? I think that it's just better overall she didn't join. Sean Easton says, I was on the fence about Yamato joining, but last chapter really sold me. 10 out of 10 character development. That's the thing. Okay, let's take a look at this real quick. Here's the thing, okay? If Yamato's not going to join, which she isn't, watch how quickly I'm about to be able to... Okay, watch this. All right? Okay, how about now? We good? All right. Fuck. I was about to make such a smooth transition. All right, everybody shut up and listen to me, all right? What's Sheriff Laffy saying? The Kurozumi line has stirred a lot of controversy. Some defended it, and others hating it. Oh, Morjan 1, what did you think of it? For me, I wish neither Hiyori or Orochi were created at all. I just hate how pointless they are. Yeah, pointless is correct, I think, when it comes to... It's just that there's so many characters that you could kind of drop or cut from the arc, and it feels like in the first place, the idea of like, you know, being chased, hunted for your name, etc. That's such an important part of One Piece in general, right? Like, I feel like I shouldn't have to go back. You can go back to just Dressrosa, and that was a major point of that arc, both with Rebecca, but even with Luffy, with Chinjao chasing him and shit, right? So there's so much that you can talk about there. I know that there was a minor shift in translation between the Viz and TCB, with Viz, her saying Orochi or Kurozumi was born to boil, and TCB saying Kurozumi were born to boil. So some people are arguing that there's a distinction between plural versus not plural. But then people who know Japanese are saying that, well, the distinction doesn't really matter that much since they don't really fuck with plurals and stuff that much anyway, so it's all contextual. And either way, at the end of the day, she's using his name to say Kurozumi, go by the meaning of the name, born to burn. It's not a good look for the story. I do wonder if there's something more to come of it. Maybe that's something that becomes a problem during Momonosuke's rule that has to be fixed. The one tricky thing is that the portrayal of it was meant to feel like a feel-good ending note for the story, right? Like, the whole tone of that chapter was that this is climactic, this is nice, bow tied at the end of the narrative, etc. So it doesn't feel like Oda's really adding any nuance to Hiyori saying this. It just feels like a cool phrase for her to say at the end of the day. So I don't know. Straight Banana says, please tweet more. People who hate you are funny. I'll tweet more in the future, I guess. Ivan back from the card shop says, petition to call Yamato that one random Wano citizen now. We must start the movement. Look, the Crocodile's nephew stuff, I wish that had caught on a little bit better, because I feel like it was accurate at the end of the day, right? The stuff I was comparing right here. Okay, let me read these out real quick. Caleb Brown says, I was with the crowd wanting Yamato to join until I seen your video on why Yamato shouldn't join. Then you convinced me it's better this way, so thank you. Thanks, I appreciate that. The one thing I'll say is that I wish the way that she decided not to join was handled a little more elegantly. Soham Roy, thanks, I appreciate it. Look, yeah, AJK says, you disappoint me, Morj. What happened to your agreement that you would read the opening of Wano Border on Reddit? Liar, Lorgy. Look, AJK, I will read it if you link it to me right now. Here's the one thing, though. Don't we already know what opening the borders means now? Didn't we get that answer a couple chapters ago? We know it means, destroy the walls, water floods out, you get access to the lower areas of Wano and everything like that, you get access to Pluton. Don't we already know the answer? Mr. Luggy Dragon T says, okay, thank you, appreciate it. All right. This is what I'm saying, right? This is old school Oda, right? This whole chapter, right? You're comparing Vivi to Yamato, right? We get everything. We get the whole shebang, right? This whole chapter is dedicated to Vivi and why Vivi decided to stay, right? What she's been balancing, what's been going on in her mind, right? The realization that she's come to. And a lot of it is a result of the journey that she's had with the Strats, right? So she's articulating that. She's articulating what she's learned, how she's grown, and why ultimately she's realized that this is the right place for her to be. Even if her heart wants to go out with the Straw Hats, she loves her country too much. That's why it can't come, right? This is what everything leads to, right? But the path to getting the reader there, we're all ready to accept that because we understand this is coming from a well thought out place, from a well developed, fleshed out character who's multidimensional, who has a brain, who has split feelings, but who has come to her own conclusion of what is right for her and her own story and her own place in the world, right? Look at all this. Beautiful, beautiful. Look at Yamato. So what happens with Yamato? She says, where is it even at? I can't find it in this chapter. Where is it at? Where is it? I'm staying. I've already spoken to Luffy and the others about it. What? Oh, well, Odin started his journey with a tour of water, right? I realize there's so much more out there I don't understand. Blah, 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 blah. And then, bada bing, bada boom, she's done. That's it. That's it. Like, were people who said that she's a shallow character ever wrong? No. This is just what she is. I hope that she gets fleshed out because it seems like we are going to revisit Wano at some point. But, like, come on. Like, she's not even a position, like, at the end of the day, she's not even in a position to give a speech like this like Vivi did because Vivi was actually a developed character who grew and changed and has more layers than just wanting to be like a fanboy of this character Kazuki Odin whose diary she read. It's so, like, the fact that people genuinely wanted Yamato to join is just beyond me. I'll never understand. All right, moving past that. Whoa, we're getting some controversial stuff. Maximiliano Crespo says, do you think that transgens should raise kids? Whoa. Behenort says, how long will wait for Wano review and breakdown? Okay, here's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for an analysis for Wano coming out next week. Most likely it's going to be the week after, though. So I'm going to try and turbo through, but I want it to be good as well, right? So most likely analysis video next week, and then following that week, a review. So I want to do it back to back. Goomba Boomba says, Yonko were basically edgeguarded off the map, lol. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I wish we knew if they were dead, but I guess we can assume they were. Pocket Monster says, no goodbye for Hyogoro and Carrot feels weird to me. I mean, Carrot, we basically got the send-off. Fortnite Pro 123 says, what post-time skip arcs are better than Wano? I mean, if I'm being blunt, I personally think each one for what they are. Yeah, like, what post-time skips are. I like, to me, I think Whole Cake Island, in my opinion, I know this is not the popular opinion, I think Whole Cake Island is the best post-time skip arc to me. If I were to quickly rank I would say I'd put Whole Cake Island number 1 for myself. I would say Dressrosa. Do we count Reverie? Because Reverie is... If we count Reverie, sure, I'll put that too. Then I got Dressrosa. No, Zoe was... It's hard. Like, they're all so different in terms of... Like, how are you going to compare Zoe to Dressrosa? You know, they're two very different storylines. I will say Zoe was more exciting back when I was more excited for Wano. Why am I still on this? Let me switch back. And let me just make sure I didn't miss any chats real quick. Everybody like the stream. We can all like the stream, right? We're all celebrating chapter 1050. Let's get some likes in before Parvision shows up. Let me just make sure I didn't miss anything. Give me a second. But yeah, I think that... I don't know. I can understand people who have Wano, like, top 3 favorite arcs in the series and everything like that. I'm just saying for me personally. Like, if you really like Wano, then that's perfectly, like, reasonable to feel. Talha Jahan said, bounty predictions, Lord Lorge. Also, Yamato W. Bounty predictions, dude, it's hard. I wonder why Oda hasn't shown them yet. I guess we get, like... I personally really, really like getting all the Straw Hat bounties, you know, revealed within that post-arc section. But, I mean, Dressrosa, we got them as we were sailing away, so it's nothing new there, I guess. I'm just saying I like it when we're still chilling in the island and we get the bounties, because it just feels fun to celebrate those. But I guess that really, really only happened in Water 7. In general, I guess it usually happens when they're sailing away, like back in Arlong Park, everything like that. So I guess we'll probably get them through the news or something like that in the next couple chapters. I don't really have it gets hard once you get to the lower ranked Straw Hats, you know? Like Zoro and Sanji, I think they both passed 1 bill. I feel like Zoro might be like 1.8 billion or something like that. Sanji might even be close. Maybe he's 1.7 or something. It's hard to say. Maybe that's too big of a jump though. I would just like them to both have higher bounties than King and Queen, because obviously bounties aren't strength, but Zoro and Sanji basically spanked King and Queen once they got their power-ups. Like, they demolished them once they got their power-ups. Like, it was pretty clean. So I would like for that to be reflected in their bounty, threat level, etc. Although, obviously, you know, Luffy didn't get a higher bounty than Kaido, etc., so maybe that's not going to be the case. Caleb Brown says, I appreciate all the great content and will try to be less weird, Morj. Ahem, I mean Mr. Morj. Also, I really love Momo's speech after the fight. Thanks, Caleb. You're on the right path. Blackbeard Army says, those Raycon earbuds you were shilling are trash. Raycons are fucking good. I literally don't know what you're talking about. Raycons are good. I've been using the Raycons. I don't need AirPods or any of that shit. I like the Raycons I have. Tomahawk PWPT says, I was completely on board with Chopper versus Queen since it followed... Oh, wait. These are from the last stream at this point. My bad. All right. I was like, why are we going all the way back here? We're here. Yeah, no goodbye for Hyogoro. I think Hyogoro needed a goodbye, because that's Luffy's Rayleigh for the arc. I think we got more time spent with Hyogoro training Luffy than we had with Rayleigh training Luffy, so... I don't know. I think we could have gotten a goodbye for Hyogoro for sure. It just feels weird. Fortnite Pro 123 says, yeah, we covered that. Sheriff Lafitte says, it was wild that people compared Yamato to Nami and Straw Hat, the two Straw Hats with the most development, to their joining in actual personal dreams. Yeah, I was tweeting about that the other day. I was like, some people are like, well, Nami and Robin joined right away without any sort of character development and stuff. And it's like, them getting on the shit, like, they're literally the opposite of Yamato. Yamato genuinely, from her heart, wanted to sail with the Straw Hats, right? Nami and Robin, if you read their entire character arcs, they very explicitly were not intending to stay with the crew for any reason other than to further their own purposes, right? Like, Robin was crew hopping at this point in her life. Nami was just using them to get to Arlong, etc. The real time that Nami joined the crew was chapter 94, when Luffy said, you are my Nakama, and Nami actually agrees. The real time Robin joined the crew was chapter 398, when her character arc concludes, when she decides that she wants to live and not just commit suicide. So that is the moment that she actually decides to join the crew, right? It's very, very different. It's the total opposite of Yamato. Yamato, everything that she had, her entire story was Wano-centric. Her backstory, her character conflict, her motivations, etc. Everything was there and just wrapped up in a bow right there. Nami and Robin, right? We didn't learn jack shit about them. Their backstories, right? What are their actual motivations, right? Why does Robin want to die? Her character conflict was not something that was dealt with till Enies Lobby, right? Nami's character conflict was not dealt with till Arlong Park. All of that stuff related to their story was stuff that was set up early on, but built to be resolved later on. Whereas with Yamato, every single piece of her character was literally established and resolved within Wano, right? The last thing was, I want to go traveling, right? But that's not really her character conflict, right? She literally just wanted to see the people of Wano be free because she read it in a diary that they're supposed to be free, right? That's basically it. That's what she really, really wanted. Ivan back from the card shop says, what are you going to do if Caesar beats Katakuri next chapter? Caesar's not going to beat Katakuri next chapter. Like, what do you mean, what am I going to do? It's just not a thing that's going to happen. Edwin Rodriguez says, we won. F the raid failing, F awakened beast pirates, F killer dying, Yamato not joining is the theory that mattered, let's go. No, I would rather the raid fail and Yamato join than the other way around. Wheezy Bird says, did you expect Hiyori to destroy the community? It's crazy that I never understood why Hiyori exists, is the thing. Like, I didn't know why she exists. It's like, I feel like Oda really, really liked the idea of the tale of Momotaro having having a dog, a pheasant, like a dog, a bird, and a monkey, right? So I think that, Luffy is obviously significant. He's the monkey. Yamato, dog. Hiyori being the bird, right? Because Hiyori is symbolized by a peacock, blue pheasant, whatever you want to say, right? So I think he wanted to have two really important Wano-specific characters, even more important than the Scabbards, so that's where Yamato and Hiyori came from, but I don't think that they fit that well into the story. Maximiliano Crespo says, don't be flawed, speak your mind, let's get to know you. Are you okay with transgens raising kids? Last money I send you. First of all, mods in the future, please ban questions like this, and yes, I'm okay with that. The Hidden Island says, it's evil Morjin time. Oh yeah, let's see what's up with Parvision. We'll probably bring him in 5 minutes if he's good with that. We just message on Twitter. Silver Crown says, dub, but yo. Thanks. All right. What's going on here? Okay. All right. Am I being linked the thing to read? Let's see it. All right. We can probably read this and then bring Parvision on. Good to join. 5. Drek the Drek says, I wouldn't say demolished. King still outmuscles Zoro. Conqueror's coding doesn't enable Zoro to ragdoll King like he did to him. Internal destruction is what saved his butt. I don't know. It seemed pretty straightforward to me. Like, once it got going. CK says, can we be thankful that for the first time in like 10 years, we're getting the Straw Hat crew together for the new world with no split-ups? Dressrosa said, Onimaru is one of the best Wano characters. For the first time in like 10 years, we're getting the Straw Hat crew together in the new world with no... Yeah, I am happy about that, but like, we also got that in one... Like, I guess this is the first time they're just sailing together. That's nice. Dripty Sauce says, Komurasaki's a bird, ... Shocking, LMAO. Yeah. All right. Wait, I think I missed one. Aliato5 says, Mr. Mank, your hairline is retreating faster than the Green Bull did from Shanks. Now your sound retreats via accidental muting. Hashtag best streamer. Thanks, appreciate it. And Frank Stullmuller says, since we're on the Alabasta praise train, why does Uncle Toto serve a narrative better purpose than any Wano citizen? I could go off on that. Should that be saved for a video? Because I want to save it for like an Alabasta analysis. But Toto's actually perfect. Like, Toto's the perfect example of less is more. It's so much more effective to get one singular character, right, who the Straw Hats actually spend, a few chapters just hanging around and getting to know, right? Rather than having a million different characters spread all across the country that we're getting to learn bits and pieces of through like really scattered chapters and conversations and stuff like that. All of them moaning like Wano sucks, blah, 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 blah. And then when they're fighting for the general concept of Wano. Whereas Toto is this character that you can actually, like, you've got a nice long segment of the story that's slow and just devoted to the Straw Hats meeting Toto, learning about what Toto was like before, what the city he's trying to save was like, etc. It gives the straw hats something very personal, and it even changes Luffy and his mentality over the course of his conversation with Toto, because before that, he's very wasteful and stuff with his water. After that, he is extremely, he treats water extremely preciously, and he won't let anybody waste it, and he won't let anybody take the water because it's like the special spring water that Toto gave him. And so when Luffy's finally fighting Crocodile, when Luffy's fighting for the sake of Alabasta, Luffy has like a clear image in his mind of the type of people he's trying to save. And so when Crocodile's sending the sandstorm over to Yuba, and when Crocodile's like throwing around Luffy's water, Luffy's thinking of Toto, right? And Toto works really, really well to amplify the sense of tragedy as to what happened between Vivi and Koza, because Koza is his son, right? So you got Koza and Toto and Vivi and Cobra, and Vivi still wants to bring back what they once had. Toto still wants to bring back what they once had. Koza's the one who basically has gone off the deep end and believes that there's no other route but violence. I don't know, just a lot of it. You can build a really, really large-scale dramatic conflict for an entire nation without needing to write in 50 different characters, because that's what Alabasta was, in my opinion. All right, let's read this theory. All right, let's read this theory. Let me shift gears real quick. Missing anything? Sheriff Laffy says, what we'd like to see from Blackbeard in the upcoming chapters. Let's see him get off to some schemes. Let's see him do some stuff. Let's get excited for a new villain. Like, what was he going after in chapter 956, you know? Captain Face's ultimate ability of Conqueror's Haki may be to shut off your opponent's Haki temporarily, essentially conquer their Haki. I think Shanks can only do it and will work akin to Blackbeard canceling Devil Fruits. I've read some spoilers from Film Red, so I won't even comment on anything. It'd be unfair for me to comment on anything there. But I definitely agree that there's more to see from Conqueror's Haki. Enma298 says, personal favorite moment of the arc. Personal favorite moment of the arc, probably... I liked the first Gear 5th fight chapter a lot. I liked Odin boiling a lot. I liked Yasue's death a lot. Maybe Gear 5th. I think Gear 5th. First Gear 5th fight chapter. Flame Emperor says, if Orochi was the last Kurozumi who refused Odin's offer to reconcile their family past, is Hiyori's view of the Kurozumi justified? I mean, I think it's been confirmed that Tama is a Kurozumi, so I would say no. Tala Jahan says, week 72, if asking Sanji versus King, you're scaling greater than Brago. You've never asked this before in my life, I swear. Sanji versus King? I think Sanji's got a good shot. Nerve AMV Maker says, thank you, Morji, you are the Izo of Wano. Okay. Also, Nami literally had more development in Orange Town than Yamato did. Yeah, that's true, because Yamato didn't develop at all. So you could reference pretty much any character in any arc that had any development, and it would be true. All right, let's read this thing. All right. This is good. Can you guys read this? All right. What it actually means for Wano's borders to be open, and the reason why Wano is special, a long comprehensive theory on Wano, the Ancient Kingdom, Skypiea, Toki's prophecy. See, the thing is, I think I've read this one. Is this the one that says that Wano's the Ancient Kingdom? Because I think I've read this one, or at least yeah. Dude, I've read this one. I buy this theory. I think it's a really good theory. At least I did. Let me read it now with the context that we have around Wano. Wait, let me update Parvision real quick. He's saying that Reddit theory that AJK linked is a mega long theory, lol. Okay, here's the deal, AJK. We're going to read this after Parvision leaves, because I don't want to leave him hanging. So this is my bad. I should have gotten to it sooner, but this will be the thing we end the stream with. I swear I'll read it, because I skimmed this theory at one point. This has been linked to me before. I skimmed this theory at one point. I thought it was a great theory. So I got nothing else to... Like, we can read it again. I've forgotten most of the details, because I didn't read it in depth, but I thought it was a really, really good theory at the time. We can look at it again now with the context we have surrounding what we know of what Wano actually is, etc. Right? So, yeah, we can read this again. All right. Let me see if I can do this right. First of all, how do I turn off these annoying Discord sounds? I don't know if you guys can even hear them. Let me run through these real quick. Fontingo says, if anything, the chapter focused more on Momo as a Straw Hat. Oda literally made Yamato to sell towels, LMAO. Yeah, I don't... I don't really know what the deal with Yamato is. Cigar Verk says, no end of hatred, no closure for character story like Otsuru Kinemon. No goodbye to Hyogoro. Yeah, no limelight on some Straw Hat plot lines started, which are dropped. When was the last time we saw Hyogoro? Probably during the feast, right? Easy Man says, gonna see Dragon Ball Superhero tonight. Wish me luck. I actually saw that. It's like, okay. It's like fun. It's a fun fan service movie. It's a fun fan service movie for sure. Okay, let me see if I can do this properly. Should be something like this. If I go like this. All right. So you guys should be able to see Parvision here, right? And my face at the bottom, right? Someone confirm? CK says, real talk, we're our king and queen. They should still be on Wano. Shouldn't the Big Mom Pirates have a vendetta against the Law and Kid for killing their mom? King and queen got their juices sucked out by Green Bull, right? So I think king and queen are, they're kind of, we don't know if they're dead. They're in that same ambiguous state that Kaido and Big Mom are. Oh, Parvision's not picking up. Are we getting ghosted? Okay. All right. We're good. What's up, Parvision? Hello?
What's up, Morj? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I actually don't know if they can hear you.
So your camera, if you can hear me, your camera is being used by another app, so Discord won't show it. Mine loaded in a little bit, so it should show up on stream.
I don't know what that means. Oh, my camera is not showing up in your box there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you can't see me. That's fine. I don't think that will change anything too much. Let me make sure that I can add the audio from. Is this gonna work? Let me see.
Yeah, and then for the notifications from Discord, you'd have to mute all the servers, but apparently you're not even in your own server, so.
No, I'm in my server. What do you mean?
I thought before you said you got booted out or something.
That was I had a new laptop, so I wasn't logged into Discord. This laptop is, well, it's not new now, but it was like 2 months ago. So I figured it out after that. I was just in a new laptop. I was like, what the hell happened? Can they hear you? Can the people hear you? They can hear you?
Volume's too low.
Volume's too low?
So I think on Discord you might have to amp it up.
I don't think I'm even getting desktop audio right now, though. Let me see. So I'm in Discord. Give me 1 second.
All right, guys. You guys are holding off on the likes, but now that I'm here, you guys can like the stream a lot more.
Yeah, everybody can like. Now that Parvision's here. Okay, hold on. I got it. It's desktop audio. There we go. What? Okay. Can you say something?
Yeah.
Okay, they can hear you. So I just got to raise the volume on Discord. You're saying. Okay, it's all coming together. I see what you're saying now. All right, give me 1 second. Fuck. How do I raise the volume on Discord though, dude?
You just right click on my face, and then volume should come up.
Oh, you're at max. Then you know what? Let me just raise the volume on the computer. Say something.
Yeah. Are we good?
All right, hold on. No, but we're getting there. All right, how about now? Say something new. Something crazy you haven't said before.
Say something new.
Yeah.
All right. Can the chat hear me now?
AJK is going crazy. He's very upset about something. Okay, sound is good. Good. Better. Much better. All right, we did it. Okay.
All right, cool.
Welcome, dude. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. This is a long time coming, right?
Yeah.
Our beef from Reverie coming through.
The Reverie beef is finally about to be settled. I think for those of you who don't know, Parvision is also a One Piece YouTuber. He's actually pretty quickly up and coming, I'd say. He puts out some theories that a lot of people like. And people started calling him Evil Morj during the Reverie. So that's something interesting, I guess. Also, I feel like if you've been in the streams at all, you know that Parvision's been coming through the streams like many a time. So he's no stranger.
Fun stream to have Monday nights. You have a good time slot.
I think, dude, because Monday nights, like, it starts the week off, I don't know, like, I guess a fun way, I guess, it's, because weekend I don't really feel like streaming or whatever, but Monday everyone's still just hot off the chapter, just enough that they still want to talk One Piece, but it's like, starting the week off with something fun to do, basically.
Yeah, especially this chapter, because a lot of people were waiting for 1057, and then, we got the official translations, and some things changed, but more or less kind of like we just had to synthesize it more. I think more people are coming to like full loop around the chapter around this time. So
how did you feel about 1057? While I pull up some questions that were asked in the community tab earlier, and I'm sure some questions will be coming up obviously in chat here.
Yeah, I mean, so like I think a lot of people dislike the chapter. I think like like a lot of people were very like hyper critical of the chapter.
Yeah.
And that being said, like I also didn't like this chapter, but not for like everyone was like stuck on like Adolf Fiori, right? But like
Yeah.
but the thing is, she didn't say those lines. The Rakugo guy said it. And so it's like, do we blame this random dude who's narrating or trying to make her seem cooler than she is? Whatever. My biggest issue was more Sukiyaki. Sukiyaki's just out of pocket. He's just this old dude just letting all this shit slide. It all started with this man. Like, Sukiyaki was a very, like, I think ever since we got the reveal that he was Hitetsu, he's been taking like L after L, like in terms of like portrayal. But I think you touched on a huge reason why I dislike this chapter, and it wasn't because of what happened in the chapter. All the things could have happened. It's just that there was so much like missing context that wasn't given. And so I put up like my podcast episode, like with the analysis of the chapter, and I brought chapter 216 with Vivi, and I'm just like, that moment, you look at like Jinbei's moment, you look at so many different moments that Oda has already done. And within like at leaving Dressrosa, like the Grand Fleet, they all got Sakazuki like union thing. They all got Vivre cards.
Yeah.
And then here we have Luffy's like Luffy didn't even want the Grand Fleet as his crew, and he still did all of that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. But then he's just like, Momo, Kinemon, Yamato, your crew. But all you get is a flag. You don't get a Sakazuki Cup ceremony. You don't get a Vivre card. And I don't think Oda didn't want to do that. I just don't know why he didn't include those things. And there's like a few more moments like that within the chapter where it's like, it's not even like, people will be like, oh, you think you're writing the story better than Oda. But it's like, no, Oda wrote these moments prior and made these things so memorable. Like if I asked you like, the Vivi's goodbye moment, I already know what image is in your head, right?
Yeah,
you're thinking
obviously.
Of like the arms raised, right? If I said what, like the Momo goodbye moment, what are you thinking of, right? Like there's not really a panel that we're thinking of in unison, or like an emotional state. There's so many random panels in between that I like. Are you thinking about the panel where Momo's kneeling at the crew, or is the one who's crying?
Because it's recent, I'll say it's when Luffy's showing the flag. I give some degree of credit to Luffy Momo. I did actually enjoy that scene, but you're right that it's not like, it's so tricky because with One Piece, I get what you're saying. So often I think he's got this talent for being able to think of like moments or images or sort of climactic scenes that kind of sear an image into your brain, or like are just very, very instinctively iconic or intuitively iconic, right? Like a Luffy punching a celestial dragon, or like all the Straw Hats holding their fists up with the X on it, etc. And so it's hard to even like I would say, if I'm talking from the New World, I would say something like Raizo Dono is safe, or Odin boiling or something like that and holding up all the scabbards. So it's hard to be like demanding like, hey, give us more of those, but that's what I really seek from One Piece. And that's when I'm saying like, I consider One Piece my favorite story ever. I think it's because Oda's able to so consistently hit certain moments that I just don't give me feelings I don't feel the same for other series, basically. Whereas here, it feels like a lot of it's him checking off, like, did this, basically, and like some things are not even getting checked off, but it feels very quick, and like a lot of things are kind of, just being done for the sake of being done, but without that usual One Piece flair, I would say.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point. Like, Wano had a lot of great moments, but like and like memorable moments, like when Momo debuted his adult form and showed up in front of the citizens. That was a really good moment. But like this ending, the ending of Wano, where it's like Momo has been here through the entire time skip, and it's like you would think he would get like a treatment that's beyond Avivi, beyond Jinbei, like all of these different characters. And Momo did have the flashback thing, but something that also bothered me was like, when you think about what the flashback's purpose was, it was to, demonstrate what the entire crew felt like with Momo. Because Momo said twice in the same bubble, he said, it's because of all of you that I survived. And so that's not even emphasizing Luffy. So in his direct bubble, we see that like, hey, why didn't we see like Zoro and Momo? Why didn't we see Robin and Momo, or Nami and Momo? We just saw Luffy and Momo, which isn't bad, but that just lends itself to that we got 3 pages of flashback that didn't exactly help the synthesis that Momo gave afterwards of why he was so upset. And then, going back, like, it's like, when you think about like why Yamato didn't get like a Vivi treatment, well, Vivi and Momo are more of the parallels, but Momo's problem wasn't like he didn't have a turmoil of leaving with the Straw Hats. It was more so that the Straw Hats were leaving him. And so that's where it's like, why didn't Yamato also get more treatment? And when you were looking earlier in the stream where it's like, where did Yamato even say any of this stuff? And it was like 2 dialogue bubbles. And we go back to like Jinbei. I would say Jinbei is probably more like of a similar situation. And Jinbei got, multiple moments with the crew throughout the arc. And then at the very end, he was given like a page or 2 about like why he couldn't join. And then, and this is an important thing, what we saw after when the Straw Hats left was Jinbei talking to King Neptune. And he gave more reasons. And so maybe we see that afterwards, after the Straw Hats leave, that we see Yamato talking to like Momo, but that would still feel a little weird or interesting. I'm curious to see if Oda does that, because maybe there is a world in the next 2 chapters there is more exposition given. But I think at the end of the day, when you're asking me just of 1057, I think there was like too many grand moments that it's not even just like breezing by them at this point. It's like none of them got air to breathe. That's what it felt like to me. And it did feel like, people were saying like, oh, Oda's rushing and all that in the least recent chapters, but that really hit me in 1057. 1057 was a chapter where I felt like it was definitely rushed.
So we can probably expand on that as we go along. It may be. Do you expect next chapter basically we're cutting away from the Straw Hats, or do you think that we get a bit of closure on things that happen in Wano? Because there's times that happen throughout One Piece where it feels like everything's wrapped, but then we're still getting a nice little cutback. I think this happened after Dressrosa, where we still get to take a look and get some last itty bits of closure on like Kiro's Rebecca, or like what the King's up to and things like that. So I wouldn't put that out of the question. But again, at the end of the day, what happened with Yamato is just crazy to me, because she needed development for so long. She didn't get it. And then the bit that did change her mind, one, I think it was for like a really weird and sad reason, which is like, I just got to be Kazuki Oda and even harder. And 2, it happened off screen, which is just like, why would you make her moment where she has a realization, where she changes a little bit, where she has a shift in mentality? Why would that be off screen when that's probably the most important thing that you would want to show for her throughout the whole thing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think after like letting the chapter sit with me a little bit, I was thinking like, yeah, I get the Rakugo Kabuki play setting was like very important to Oda into wrapping up this whole arc. But when you look at 1057, it almost felt like that took away from giving like these prime moments more time. And when you think about that, it's like Oda emphasized the Hiyori Kurozumi point so much so that it pretty much overshadowed Momo, Yamato, and the Straw Hats like moment. And that in itself is weird, because it makes you feel like, is Hiyori gonna be more important later? Is like the Kurozumi thing gonna be more important later? And it feels like it shouldn't, because throughout the arc we never really like Hiyori.
It was one of the least fleshed out concepts, I think, throughout the entirety of the arc. So to conclude with that is weird. Something that people are saying, which is interesting, is that maybe it does lead, like you're saying, to something where Hiyori might actually be a problem for Wano in the future. Maybe that's a test for Momonosuke as a shogun down the line, especially if it's coming, like maybe certain language or something coming from his own sister. I think that'd be great. But it's just weird. The portrayal was definitely not some sort of, casting shadow on what she might be saying or anything like that. The portrayal felt like, yeah, this is a great way to end the arc, basically. This is like a really nice climactic send-off moment for the Straw Hats and everything, and like, the bookend moment, basically. So for me, it's hard to really... I've been burned so much with like expectations of like, maybe I don't like this right now, but it'll turn into something later, and then that just doesn't happen, that I've stopped trying to think that way, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it's also like... even if Hiyori and the Kurozumi line were to be like relevant later, that why would we come back to Wano to like focus that much on like an internal strife that like could have been addressed fairly quickly. I
Mm-hmm.
don't even like, how are we going to get that addressed in a cover story? So it's
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't even think that could be solved in a cover story. Maybe it does. Maybe Momo's like lecturing Hiyori, like, how dare you? But like,
Dude, that,
again,
yeah.
it
Yeah.
wasn't the Hiyori line anyways. It was the
Mm-hmm.
Rakugo guy. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's a little weird because we're going to the last saga. We don't have time for all of these like fringe storylines,
Mm-hmm.
even though they would be important to address. So I definitely think that after seeing like the next few chapters, because I'm really curious to see um like what Oda does before we get to the island. I feel like there's so much information like left in the air that you could almost have like 10 chapters just filling in the gaps while we're traveling in. Like we didn't read any of the poneglyphs. Like we saw
Mm-hmm.
one, but like there's still 3 others. Then apparently they don't know about Sabo. Like I don't
Yeah.
know what's going on
Yeah.
with there. Like the bounties are still up in there, and that's like fan service 101 for Oda, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
everyone's like
Well, he's got to be
One Piece
saving
fans,
that. He's saving that.
yeah,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
like One Piece fans don't care about like boobs and stuff like that. We care about bounties. And so it's like
I wouldn't go that far. I'd say it's a solid 50-50 split, but
that's true. That's true.
yeah.
If you put a poll like Yamato's side bob or Zoro's bounty, I don't know.
Oh,
Maybe more
no,
people will
yeah. I think Zoro would win, but you'd be surprised he gets a run for his money for sure.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. But I think I that's why I'm saying like,
Oh shit.
maybe there's a whole transition arc in between here and the next
Mhm.
island where we get so much information. We learn about the reverie. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. I I can only wait for Oda, I guess, for 1058.
Yeah, I think we just gotta wait on him for a moment. Let me just catch up on some supers real quick, and I think I missed
Yep.
one from Mr. Crescent. Actually, we might just have to catch up on some of these. We'll catch up on the ones that we missed. Sorry, Mr. As we hit towards the end of Parvision's time. Let's just go through some here real quick. The Hidden Island says, wow, this Parvision guy is pretty cool. We should all go sub to him right now. That's a good idea. Go check him out, sub to him. Alexander Grayson says, do you think any of the unresolved plot points are unironically being saved for Two Piece, so the sequel? New to your streams, by the way. Love your stuff. Any quick thoughts on that?
Maybe not Two Piece, but I do feel like a lot of unresolved Wano things could end up being addressed in the last saga, and it could be better that way. But we can only get confirmation when it happens, right?
Adriel Castaneda just said Morjan time. Vivo said Smoker for Stride agenda going strong. I don't know, man. I think jumping off of that, actually, first let's backtrack a little bit because we both just complained a little bit about 1057. How'd you feel about Wano in general at this point? You don't need to give it like a number or rating or anything like that. Just general thoughts, feelings. Have you gotten a chance to reread it? Stuff like that.
Yeah, I didn't get to Act 3 yet, like to fully go through all of it. I did some of Act 1, but I reread Act 2. I would say that especially I think the frustrations people had with Wano will be in our faces for a while as Wano's ending, and hopefully, like we're saying, like maybe some unresolved plot lines get addressed in the last saga, so maybe we start feeling better about those things as we move forward in the story. If we're talking about like Wano right now, I would say I really liked Wano. If 1057 aside, I always thought Wano was not a parody, but like it took so many arcs, like from Arabasta to Fishman Island, Thriller Bark, Skypiea, Dressrosa, so many different elements, and put them all into one arc. And that's a difficult thing to do, I think. And it was also built up, well in advance. And a lot of the shortcomings that people attribute Wano to right now, it's the loose ends, the things that weren't addressed. And so like we might address them later on and Wano gets better, or we don't address them and then Wano goes lower in my mind. So right now I think I'm a little bit biased in the sense of like what I really liked Wano for was that of any arc ever before, Wano made me think the most. Wano made me like think super critically, even without my channel, because I was watching and reading without my channel. I started like a little bit later, so like it's been like 10 months. So Wano Act 2, Act 1, they made my brain go off unlike any other arc prior, and made me reflect on a lot of arcs and made a lot of other arcs better. I think a lot of people throughout Wano liked Skypiea better because of Wano.
That's a big
and
one.
so yeah, like, so for an arc to make another arc dramatically better, I do like Wano. I don't know where it would be, because some people are like, oh, Wano's like C tier or whatever, but like, that's where a little bit of the bias is, where it's like, no other arc made me think or talk to like environmental scientist or meteorologist or various things, which I'm doing on my Discord, and that's just like super fun to me, that there's so much thinking involved here.
I think at the same you're definitely right, because even if you're in a Whole Cake Island or something like that, there's only everything that you can discuss or try and break down in a Whole Cake Island, it's mainly going to be Whole Cake Island specific, right? Like trying to figure out what's going on in this arc, where it thinks this arc headed. But Wano is so cool just because it opened up so many potential plot threads for like where the story could go, and recontextualizes so much of the story in the past. So I definitely agree that Wano, that's one of the reasons that Wano, I think a lot of people call it like an arc of highs and lows, I guess, because with the way that it opened up our eyes to a lot of like what the grander story of One Piece kind of is, I think a lot of people just have innate sort of excitement for that, right? Learning about Nika, getting to go back through the series, just getting to go back, re-examine all the clues and everything like that. You're definitely right on that, and I think that that's something that, honestly, being a weekly reader, I think as a weekly reader, Wano was probably one of the better arcs to be a weekly reader for, just because the moments that everybody got to experience together are going to hit a lot harder on the weekly experience than something like binged. I don't know if you'd agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, so to give my story with One Piece, I started reading the manga last year, and I was anime only for a very long time.
Wait, that's crazy. Wait, so you're that new?
I've been watching the anime ever since I was a kid, but like, there was never, I got into manga at one point, and then I realized I would be menaced because I was just binging everything. So I was like, all right, I'm just gonna stop reading manga for a while. And then later on, when like, I think it was Dressrosa and Whole Cake Island, there was like various moments throughout those the anime where I was like, this is not what's happening in the manga. I'm pretty sure of it. And so I checked the manga and I was like, all right, what the fuck is happening? And so then when Wano came around, I really liked some parts of the anime, but you could still tell. And then so I started building up. I was like, all right, my frustration is growing. All right, let me get into the manga.
Yeah.
And so when chapter 1000 came out, that's when I just started reading, caught up, and then I like fully realized like the differences in the anime and the manga. For example, like the Kaido scene in Wano was this like Luffy and Kaido in like 920 or whatever, 922.
Yeah, 21.
The anime versus manga difference is just like, whoa, dude, what are we doing here?
It's crazy. Yeah. It's like, and I tried to explain it to like my friend who just watches, right? And like, he showed me the Luffy versus Kaido fight in the anime, and I was like, yeah, that's cool, but like, let me show you how it was in the manga. So then he read it, and like, he had mixed feelings because he was like, oh, but it missed all that cool stuff of like, you know, them hitting each other. But I guess this is cool too. You just don't get it unless you're like in the flow of it and you're reading chapter to chapter, and it's like, we just got a week where Luffy gets one-shotted for the first time in the entire story. It's absolutely insane. That's actually one of my favorite Wano moments, period.
And it's funnier because the anime wasn't even like, the fighting part wasn't even majority of it was him running to Kaido.
Yeah.
And I remember watching that and I was just like, damn, this is far as fuck. How did he like, how did they do this in the manga? Was this like a whole reflect? And then it's just like, nope, there was none of that. No, and like, so, you know, I still watch the anime, but the manga, like, you know, you have to use that as a source. Like, I'm not gonna be overriding manga points with anime things. Like, that just doesn't make sense. But and then especially with some of the things they're doing in Roof Piece, it's like, yeah, Prometheus did not go swimming in the ocean. That just doesn't make sense. I don't know what the directors were thinking about that. But outside of that, they've been doing a decent job with Onigashima and filling in meaningful points with emotions and that kind of thing. They're doing a good job for the most part. Fights are separate. But yeah, with the manga, like it's like when I started making the YouTube channel, and started doing chapter reviews, I kept on asking everyone I talked to. I was just like, has One Piece ever felt like this ever before? Like these chapters were crazy, like 1043, 1055. So I think every 10 chapters there was at least 5 insane chapters. And I just like, so this is my question to you. Was One Piece ever feeling like this prior to Wano?
I mean, my favorite weekly reading experience for One Piece, and my favorite weekly experience, if anything ever, was definitely Marineford. Wano had crazy chapters interspliced with a lot of not crazy chapters. I think that was most of Act 3. So it's hard to say because, like, I wasn't enjoying most of Act 3, but then, like, you know, Gear 5th would roll around and I'd be like, oh, that was a really cool chapter or something like that. Reverie, I don't know if we count that. Because Reverie, like, that was, like, 6 straight chapters of just really, really exciting world reveals, exciting lore stuff that I think everyone had just been waiting on for so long, and it was just so packed into, like, such a tiny space. So definitely I'd say, like, okay, I get it from the creator perspective, which is, you know, I've been doing One Piece for several years. Wano has definitely sparked the most discussion out of any of the previous One Piece arcs, at least in the time that, you know, I've been doing it. And, like, I don't know, I guess you started during Wano, right? So you started your channel during Wano.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, I guess this was the perfect time for you to get into the story, or do you wish you'd gotten into it sooner? Like getting into doing One Piece YouTube.
That's a hard question. I think the timing of it was really good. I think I could have gone into it sooner. I got into it because of TikTok. I didn't even know the YouTube community existed.
What?
Yeah, so I was on TikTok and I saw creators there.
What did they even create? What could I've just such a negative view of TikTok. I'm just like, what are One Piece TikTokers out here doing? What could they even do?
Yeah, One Piece TikTok is pretty good. One of my favorite chapter analysis creators is actually on TikTok. His name is Mosh DMC. He always puts out like a very quick, like very detailed analysis. And so
I don't like him. I don't like him.
So I saw a few TikTok creators and I was just like, I could do this. Let me do this. And then that's where it started.
Okay. Wait, how old are you, Parvision? Are you like 16 secretly?
Dude,
how old are you?
It's funny. So I haven't told my viewerships how old I am, but it's funny because I think you did last stream how old you were.
I'm 26. Yeah. I'm 10 or so years older than you.
Yeah, we can go with that. We can go with that. Except the detail is I'm married. So
oh, what?
Maybe that raises the age a little bit.
Probably. All right. Okay. I guess there's no age limit to TikTok. The whole thing bothers me because I don't understand it. So I think I'm hoping it goes away at some point, but I guess everyone just likes TikTok at this point.
It's just faster paced kind of things. So like, yeah, when I started, people were like, you should be on YouTube. And I was like, what? There's a YouTube for like anime? And then I started Googling stuff. And like, fun fact, when Brago messaged me, I had no idea who he was. And he messaged me on Instagram and he was basically, I told him this straight up. I was like, you were catfishing me. You didn't message me anywhere else. And he was dying, but like, yeah, that's essentially what it was, where like I was just a random, I had no idea what I was doing. I was just like, all right, these people want YouTube videos, I guess I make YouTube videos. And here we are. A few months later.
I think I had a very, very similar lineup, but slight differences, which is like, I did not know, like you, that there was One Piece YouTube. To me, that wasn't a thing. I was on the One Piece Reddit and everything like that, but I didn't know there were people that did this like as their YouTube channel, right? So I started just doing videos for fun, and then as I was doing videos, people would be in the comments talking about like just name dropping other YouTubers, like, oh, have you seen this or that? And so like I was already some ways along the way before I realized that there's other YouTubers who are much more established in, you know, the sphere and doing everything like that. So then I started watching. So for me, I would watch like Rogers based reactions. I'd watch teching videos when I'm eating and things like that. And that was just fun because at that point in time, like, you know, I was stepping into the YouTube sphere. I was having so much fun doing my One Piece videos. It was just cool to see these other people who are already doing it. And I'm like, maybe I get to talk to them someday. So then I knew there was another Reverie rolling around. So Brago had hosted the most recent Reverie before that. This next one upcoming was Joy Boys. So I was like, okay, I got to talk to... First thing I did actually was I was like, Tekking's the biggest One Piece YouTuber. Let me go talk to him. So I joined Tekking's Discord, and I was like, hey, it's Tekking here. And nobody knew who I am because my channel was really small at the time. So I was like, hey, it's Tekking here. Can I talk to him? And then everybody laughed at me. Like, it was literally like Luffy and Bellamy at the bar. They're like, do you want to talk to Tekking? Like, Tekking's like so far above us. He never shows up here. What are you doing? Think you can just come in talking to Tekking? I was like, okay, I'll leave. Then I went to Brago's Discord. He's much easier to get a hold of. And I was like, hey, can I join the Reverie? And he was like, he kind of confirmed who I was because I was just getting big enough that I was like, you know, on people's radar or whatever. So then he invited me to stream with him first. And I realized in retrospect that was, I guess, like a little bit of a check. This guy's not just some weirdo or an asshole or something like that. He was like, you stream with me first. Okay, you're fine. You can join the Reverie. And after that, I got added to the group chat. So I think we both got the in through Brago, I guess, at the end of the day. But I had to ask. Whereas you got catfished. So anyway.
Yeah, I don't know which one's better. But you didn't. I didn't have the Tekking Bellamy moment.
Yeah, no, I just like, what's wrong with that? What's so weird? This is his Discord. Where else is he gonna be? But anyway,
I feel you.
Yeah, let me ask, how have you been enjoying or not enjoying? What's the easiest way to ask this? Do you feel as much, do you enjoy doing YouTube as much now as you did when you were beginning?
Okay, yeah, that's I think I enjoy it much more because I have like, I figured out like a style. I figured out like how I'm gonna do things, whereas like before I was more worried about like if I say this, how I say this, or do I do this or that. Now I'm just like, this is my format, you know, talk, put it out. I think right now it's more so like just expanding out my stuff that's like more tedious. Like, you know, I've been focusing on doing the collabs for various reasons, but so that, you know, I couldn't do as many videos now, but now I'm going to be focusing on my videos in the future. But yeah, I would say I'm definitely enjoying the conversations. I think like I was saying that about Wano in the first place, but just having the conversations with the creators is essentially, or in general, like that's another fun part about TikTok is that there's a lot more lives where you talk, like you could just hop in and talk to people way like more frequently. And so like, I'm definitely enjoying that right now because like I have my stream weekly and I talk to like another creator like on a weekly basis. So definitely enjoy that right now.
That One Piece talk, who I know you just had a chat with, right? They just commented, much love to Parvision and Morj, much love to everyone in the chat. Can't wait to see you two collab on a theory video. Bless the community. All right. All right. Yeah, we could do a Smoker for Nakama or something like that. That's something we both strongly believe in or something, you know. Like,
that was funny enough. You were one of the first One Piece creators that was, you know, like you were saying, people name drop like, have you seen this? Have you seen that? You were one of the first creators, but it wasn't your name. It was like, have you seen the raid fail thing? So that's when I started like on TikTok. It was, have you seen what are your thoughts? It wasn't have you seen, it was, what are your thoughts on the raid fail? Do you think the raid's failing? I was like, do people think the raid is failing? This is exciting. Who's saying this? And so I started asking and they were saying Morj. And I didn't obviously know who you were yet. And then, you know, then I started getting more in the community. Then there was the people who disliked you for the raid failing theory before the raid failed. And I was like, who is this guy? And then funny enough, the first stream I caught of you, it was Drunk Morj. And I was like, this guy is not evil. Like everyone's like painted out you to be this like menace. But then you were just like, I guess when you're drunk, you get happier or whatever it was. But
I'm never evil. What do people think I do? I come on here and I just like donate to terrorist organizations or something? What am I supposed to be doing in my spare time?
It was essentially like when I started asking people of you, and I you know, what the community, what people say in general of person, I don't use that to frame them. So that's why I was like, let me see what Morj is like actually. But people were like, I was like, who is Morj? And like, he's a cult leader. And I think that was like going on like Twitter or whatever. And I was just like, I gotta see this for myself. What's going on with this?
Look,
so that was like the impression, and I was just like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let this impression last. I gotta break the.
No, I mean
the
it's like One Piece. You like can't believe everything you hear, I guess, at the end of the day or whatever. But there's obviously elements of truth. I did believe the raid's gonna fail, and I probably pushed a lot of people to feel that way as well. And that probably caused some ripple effects. I don't like the fact that I just learned that like people were talking about me on TikTok, because like what the fuck? Like I don't even. I like to believe that TikTok, I don't know, I just pretend it doesn't exist, but now I know that there's my name's being dropped over there. That makes me extremely uncomfortable. So
there's
cool.
some big TikTok creators. Like obviously TikTok and YouTube's different, but there's a few TikTok creators that hit like 1 million followers just for One Piece, and so
wow,
it's like
that's crazy.
Yes, so it is out there, and your name definitely is thrown around a lot, especially when I started. I mean, obviously we know now why people would bring up Morj.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with skin color or anything like that.
Yeah, you're evil Morj at this point. Yeah, what made you first decide to become a bad person? Let me ask that. If you don't have a backstory, I'll make one up for you.
It's funny. Someone asked today, like, where the evil Morj thing came from. And I think it was from when I started bringing up the shadows theory in the Reverie.
Yeah, I think it was during the Reverie. Yeah, during the Reverie, right? Because I left early on, and I came back to people talking about evil Morj. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it was the shadows. I don't even know, because the shadows theory wasn't like, it would make, I don't know if you've seen like the Godfather Shanks, or the more memeable one, the Groomfather Shanks theory, which stems from my channel. That one would make sense, because like when I premiered it in the comment section, most people were like, so you are evil Morj, and I was just like, oh my goodness. But the shadows theory was a lot of fun. So
okay,
yeah.
Okay, so that's how that led into you being set up as that, basically. Plus us having the same skin color.
after I had the Shadows Morj, like or Shadows Morj, Shadows theory like segment on that, Brago pointed out from the chat that they were calling me evil Morj, and then that just popped off afterwards. So
dude, it's weird because there's not a lot of like Indian or brown skinned One Piece YouTubers for whatever reason. Like obviously there's plenty of white One Piece, there's plenty of black One Piece YouTubers, but yeah, Indian or brown skin in general is pretty rare for some reason. Don't know what it is.
I think the community is big, but the voices are quiet. So I guess it helps that we have loud voices.
Probably true. Let me just squeeze in these two questions. Hey, Parvision and Morj, could Yamato have stayed in Wano due to her devil fruit being called the deity / guardian of Wano? I mean, that's not why she personally stayed, but like, sure, it's symbolic or whatever.
Yeah, narratively, it could help make it make sense.
Goomba Boomba asks, what if Yonko are waiting at the bottom of the waterfall? I don't think that's the case, but you know.
Did you? Okay, okay, this is a knock for me on Wano. There's a whole undersea Wano, right? Mm-hmm. And they have a submarine, and they have Jinbei, and there's also a window, and none of them explored it. Like that's kind of weird, right?
No, they really could. It's not as difficult at this point for them as. And Kawamatsu's a kappa, or not a kappa. He's a fisherman. He's not a kappa. He's a fisherman. Send Kawamatsu's ass down there. He didn't do shit during the entire Onigashima Act 3. Send him deep sea diving.
Yeah, like we gave Jack so much value for just being a fisherman. It's like we have Jinbei and Kawamatsu, and there's so many. I mean, when we went to Jaya beforehand, Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji went scuba diving.
Yeah,
like why don't we get more of that?
Yeah,
wait, on the Sunny they have a submarine also. Like everyone had the ability to go.
Got a lot.
I don't know why we didn't see it.
Caleb Brown is asking if Parv is evil Morj, then is Morj just good Parv? Gonna move past that one. Adrian Akeen says, I think people are overly critical of Wano. I remember the community wasn't impressed with Dressrosa, Skypiea, and Whole Cake ended, but came to appreciate them more with time. Will Wano be the same? Okay, so I'll just give my opinion on this real quick, which is that there's different reasons. So Whole Cake, I think a lot of people still haven't come around to. So Whole Cake was Whole Cake. I liked Whole Cake from the start. I think people who didn't like Whole Cake, most of them still don't.
Most people who don't like Whole Cake don't like Sanji, right? Is that the thing?
I think they also don't like. I think a lot of Sanji fans don't even like Whole Cake because Whole Cake kind of dragged Sanji through the mud for a lot of it. And, you know, usually once your character's been dragged through the mud, you're hoping that he gets certain moments or something like that afterwards. I think for a lot of people, Sanji baking the cake didn't hit the way they hoped, or they'd hoped he'd also get a fight. Like, I think it was interesting because it was, if you're a Sanji fan, maybe you didn't feel like it lived up to what you wanted for Sanji, and if you're a Sanji hater, you didn't like an arc focused on Sanji. It like, I think there's a lot of reasons a lot of people didn't love Whole Cake Island. It also wasn't structured the same way a lot of One Piece arcs are, you know, like the escape mission and everything like that. So Whole Cake's its own thing. Skypiea, a lot of people, the only reason people like Skypiea more is because lore has added more context to the arc, but I don't think people are really going back and rereading Skypiea from start to finish nowadays and being like, wow, that story was amazing for me again. I think people are appreciating Skypiea more, but I think if you were to read through the whole story again, I still don't think that shifts people's views of Skypiea that much, maybe. The last thing I'll say is Dressrosa. Dressrosa, most people disliked during the period of time they were reading it weekly, including myself, because of the pacing, right? The pacing was a big issue in Dressrosa. I think when you reread Wano, at least from my experience, the pacing does kind of improve, especially Act 2, which was slow as fuck, but the pacing does improve. But I think that, in my opinion, for me, Wano, when I'm binge reading, I'm not quite done with it yet, but it gets worse for me when binged, just because you see more and more and more. Like right now, you, the viewer, are probably forgetting many small things throughout Wano that were dropped or weirdly set up or just didn't go anywhere or seemed forced or a waste of time, etc. You're just thinking about Gear 5th and like some of the, maybe a few of the things you really disliked, but you're remembering the key points. I think when you binge read Wano as a whole, it becomes more blatant just how, in my opinion, messy and chaotic and full of missed opportunities or like strangely included things that were flopped setups, etc. That the arc had, basically. Whereas that's not the case with Dressrosa. Dressrosa is actually like an arc where everything does, you know, all the setups do have payoffs, no characters are forgotten, etc. It just takes its time getting there. So the pacing's the problem, which is why on reread people like Dressrosa better. I don't think that's the case with Wano. That's my take on it.
Like even with Dressrosa, when you think about the Coliseum, like the fight and all those characters, you know, the tournament in general in anime is to introduce characters. And we were like, I remember feeling like, aren't these all like random characters? What are they going to do in the story? And then towards the end of Dressrosa, each character actually got a moment and it was like meaningful. Whereas like in Wano, Denjiro was sleeping. Like the other like these were the main characters. These weren't random Dressrosa gladiator people that just got dropped on. No, these were the scabbards, and they didn't even get those moments like that. And it's like, you know, some things here and there, you definitely were missed. Like I'm not like, you know, Wano's like was everything perfect. That's definitely not the case. I think I wouldn't even say it's copium. Maybe it's hopium, but I think a lot of the Act 2 things that were addressed, and even some of the Act 1 things, I think there is a way for those things to be meaningful later on in the last saga. And so a few of my theories are essentially like the guiding like direction of a lot of my theories right now are, how do these points connect and like seamlessly fit in the story without adding more to the story, without us needing to go to a different place or this? How do all these different elements connect? And that's kind of where I'm focusing the theories, because like, you know, that was all prior to us realizing there's only 3 years to 5 years left of the story. So hopefully, as like Hidden Island, he put it really well. There's a lot of fat that could have been trimmed in Act 2 in hindsight. And my hope is that later on in the last saga, we find out that wasn't fat and those are actually meaningful moments that Oda had to put in. Because like one of my feelings again is like, I would definitely have traded more of the moments we talked about earlier in 1057 for some of the random moments that we got in Act 2 that like could have just been like, yeah, let's just skip through this because it never saw the light of day. And I'd much rather see Momo and Luffy trading a Sakazuki cup, for example. Like that powerful moment of brotherhood that is like Luffy and brotherhood is such. How many other characters has Luffy called a brother? Like,
I think
you know
the other two. I think just the other two.
So for that,
I like that moment though, but you're right that it could have been in a different way. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm trying to pull up the questions that people had for you in my community tab real quick.
Oh dang, you had that kind of preparation.
Yeah, that's how we do it here. I've been doing this a few years, Parvision. This is how you do it. You
all I've seen from you, Morj, is the highest quality of content creation on the platform.
And that's very sincere, right? There's No problems with the ways my
Perfect,
streams go or anything like that. Yeah.
perfect streamer.
Okay.
There was no audio issues prior.
Hey, well, let's leave this stream alone. Who's to say you weren't at fault there, huh? I don't.
Yeah,
This
the
is a
mods
split
are
effort.
always shouting about how much they love you in the stream. So
I need better
clearly,
mods. Yeah.
I need
I need some new mods. Who wants to be a mod? Oh, Fiji's here. AJK is asking. He's saying, ask Par why he backstabbed me. Did you backstab AJK?
because you read out our Twitter DMs where
What?
he was just like, "Yo, read the theory," and then I was just like, "Yo, that theory's mad long." And
Oh
then
yeah. Because it is long. It is long.
Yeah.
I was just like, Parvision says it's too long. Sorry, AJK. We just can't do it right now. Okay. How about this? Warvin's asking, and we got a couple questions about this earlier from the chat as well. What do you think about the final crew? Do you think we've got the final crew at this point, or do you think Carrot's showing up? What do you think?
Oh, well, what do you? Are you? Wait, hold on. Are you a carrot for Nakama? Like, I have to understand that.
Am I carrot for Nakama? There's two
Or were you?
things. No,
Do you
I
think
never
she's stowed away on the ship?
I
right
never.
now?
No, I hope she's not. I never wanted Carrot to join the crew, but I did once Whole Cake Island ended. I felt like there was solid potential for her from there to get some more character stuff that could set her up for that. Because like Whole Cake it surprised me with actually like treating her not as a mascot by the end and like actually giving her some emotional stuff to work with Pedro's death. I like the Sulong scene. Her ending scene with Sanji. There was stuff there that was kind of like, okay, she's not just like this chirpy little kid character running around. She could be potentially from here developed into something more, right? So I always felt like Carrot has a possibility, but I didn't want her to join unless she got something more. So therefore, if she were to join right now, I think it would be absolutely terrible.
Bad.
Like,
Okay.
I think Yamato would have a better case for joining than Carrot, and I hate Yamato, so I'll just say that.
Right. I don't agree with like, the various character takes, but I do agree with the Carrot part of like, if she were to join now, it would feel weird. It would, especially how we just talked about how like Momo and Yamato should have had greater moments. So if Carrot's on the ship, she would be given a greater moment than Momo. It wouldn't make sense otherwise. Like, what would they do? Just ignore her while she's on the ship? And like, there would have to be more. So to the original question, like if we have the final crew or not, I would say, and I've been saying this for a while, if there's a character you like, Yamato, Carrot, Momo, whatever, you should be on the boat that they should not be on the crew and they should be off screen, because while they're on the screen, even Usopp and Brook didn't get any showing in Onigashima for the most part, right? And these are main characters. Usopp is an East Blue boy and Brook is a crewmate, and yet they didn't really get a huge showing. And so if you want Carrot and other people to be actually on the crew, then that just means we're going to get less of them. And it makes more sense for us to want either a cover story or just flat out off screen their development and us to receive it through a flashback or reflection when they're reintroduced. Because I know for a fact that if Carrot becomes queen or whatever, and she actually focuses on that, Oda is going to develop her into an actual monster and actual factor in the story later on. Whereas, I think one of the funniest things was like, yeah, she's the Duke now, but she also, her and Wanda in Sulong couldn't beat Sparrow. So it's like, if she comes back later on as the queen, I'd hope she would be able to manhandle Sparrow alone, and maybe we wouldn't get that development while they're here. And so if, you're asking me again, the final crew, I think it would be weirder. I think it's going to be weirder if there's like some random new character that we get introduced that also joins the crew in the last saga. So I think we have like a general like core group, and whatever else comes in, they're either going to be like honorary members, like we're seeing from like Yamato, Momo, Kinemon, even Vivi. Vivi might come back. That might be like an essential thing, but like I don't know if it's like, hey, let's go on more adventures. I don't even think we have time necessarily for that. So the one character that I do think might be joining us on the ship might be Drake. And the reason I say Drake is because Law was essentially the character that brought us through the Wano saga all the way up to Kaido, and he was kind of like our guide to like who the Yonkos were, what Kaido's system was, how to manage through the new world in that regard. And when we go into the last saga, that has to do with the world government and the Marines, and Drake being Sword. More ways than one, he would be a great character to be that guide, because he also introduced us to the not introduced us, but on Sabaody, he taught us that the pacifistas were using Kizaru's lasers, and that was due to Vegapunk. And so Vegapunk being a major thing, even on Onigashima, he actually talked to Luffy and interacted with Zoro and Jinbei, and I think a few other crewmates. And he's also tied with Kobe as well. He also knows Kobe. So there's so many. And then also he's the reason why Caribou's even on Wano, because he's the one who captured Caribou in the cover story and brought him here. So there's like so many different touching points that Drake has with the crew and future plot that I think that maybe if there's someone who joins us, it might be like Drake. But
would you swap Drake for Smoker? Because I think that's
I knew that was coming.
No, because you just explained basically. I'm just like, well, Smoker's got all that, but better because he's been around longer and he's got more of a character arc built for him. So I'm like, yeah, I'm on board, man. But we just got to swap who we're talking about a little bit. Smoker's the same as Drake, basically, except
is he?
Do you even have a similar demeanor, honestly, as characters? Maybe not quite, but you're kind of close.
Saying they're kind of close, I feel like I can feel the meme coming out.
Okay.
But like,
okay, I do legitimately. Okay, my Smoker for Nakama has definitely gone downhill post Wano, because a lot of it for me hinged on I believed many things, right? I thought that there was going to be more to Wano. I thought that Smoker and Tashigi and Vegapunk would be making an appearance in Wano just due to name drop things and things like that. So to me, now there's very, very little room in the story for just time-wise for something like... Because to me, the way I view Smoker is if he's having a storyline, right, there's a point that has to be coming soon where he has his break from the world government, or his mind changes about the world government in some way, right? To me, that's what most of his character arc has been heading to, so I think it just needs one big trigger. I figured that if he's in an arc with the Straw Hats when that trigger happens, then it could lead to him eventually deciding to join up with them to end up achieving whatever goal comes with finding Laugh-Tale, etc. So now I don't think that there's really room for him to be, like, when is he going to potentially... He would need to be in their vicinity, basically, when something happens, and then he would need to see them do something that kind of sways his decision that he decides he should not be with the Marines. So that's asking for a lot. I don't think that's feasible post-Wano. So I've kind of dropped the Smoker idea. But I think your reasoning for Drake, which is just having some inside knowledge on the world government and Marines and everything like that as a bit of a navigator or guide, or at least providing context, that makes me feel more for Smoker. Anyway, sorry. Continue.
Well, I would say, like, I think at the end, Smoker is going to be important. I think he's going to show up and be like... I think he's going to... Because every time we've seen Smoker, he shows up trying to stop Luffy, but Luffy's doing a good thing, and he's kind of like, God damn it, I can't do anything. I want to, but like at the end of it, he's kind of... It's funny because it's kind of like the Buggy situation. Every time Luffy succeeds, Buggy's like power vacuumed in. And then same thing with Smoker. Every time Luffy wins, Smoker gets relatively most of the credit. I don't know how Punk Hazard necessarily went down, but I would imagine there's going to be some sort of continuation of that. And so by the end of it, it might make sense that Smoker's like fighting actually actively with Luffy to some extent, because like there's the plot line where there's some kind of like civil war or like inner strife in the Navy and world government, and I think we're seeing that now with Black Horse, Kuroma. Like he's the Navy's investigational unit, and that's not the world government, and he's going to be investigating the Reverie stuff, like the world government stuff. So like there might be a world where that investigation unit is now gonna like find some craziness around the world government, kind of like how like sometimes like the FBI and CIA, they kind of like step on each other's toes a little bit. It feels a little bit something like that. And so maybe Smoker, Kobe, Sword, various groups. We're getting introduced to a lot of factions, like the God Knights. Also, we don't know like CP0's CP 0 through 9, what they're doing, God Knights, all of those. So it'll be interesting to see where Smoker fits in there. But I would imagine it's on our side. It's on the main character side, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, if Smoker's just evil by the end or something like that, that'd be hilarious. But I think we can assume that's not going to happen. Big shout outs to King Recon, who just came through the chat.
Hey.
Nice to see you again, man. And let me get another one of these questions in. People are asking. I don't want to put you on. What? If you rated Wano, what would you rate it? If you don't want to answer, we can move on. I don't want to put you on the spot like that because I don't answer Wano rating questions.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't done ratings before, but my soft answer is somewhere 7 to 8, only because I need to see what's later on to raise it up, and if later on also could drop it down. I think that's like where it is right now, and like I kind of have to do a full reflection. Like you're saying, you're gonna take like 1 to 2 weeks to like fully dive into everything. But yeah, at the moment it's around there for me. Could drop lower, but that's where it is. 1057 didn't help, but it wasn't like
it's not the end of the world.
yeah. If I thought like some of these things just flat out didn't make sense, that's separate. But it's not that they didn't make sense. It's just that I guess we didn't have enough ink and pages to make it make more sense.
I think that's fair. In the flip side, somebody's asking, what are your favorite moments from Wano?
Ooh,
let's make it harder. Top 3. You get 3.
3. Yeah. I like the Yasue, that whole scene. Like he's like a straight MVP of the arc. Without him, like a lot of things couldn't have happened. There's a lot of funny moments. There's a lot of serious moments. Like if we bring in like the anime, 1015 made chapter 1000 feel like incredible. Like the Scabbards moment, that was definitely a huge thing. Gear 5 was cool. I liked the sequence around Gear 5, like from the CP0 to like the Awakening. I did like that. I'm also curious to see how that's done in the anime. And then the third one, off the top of my head, I would just go with like there's so many moments in the ending of Wano, not 1057, like the Shanks moment. That chapter had me smiling for sure. Seeing Momo as an adult, that was really cool. There was a few things around the end of end of Wano that kind of like recency bias, I guess, are in front, and I have to like filter through that a little bit more.
Yeah, because if I said right off the bat, I would just say Gear 5th. I like Gear 5th a lot. Probably my favorite post-time skip moment. I agree with Yasue, but I sometimes also forget Yasue's death just because, it's so much has happened since then and it's not really mentioned. So like sometimes I forget about Yasue's death and I tend to lean more towards like what happened in Act 3 just because so much other shit happened, right? So Yasue's
like
death,
they should have buried Yasue with Odin.
They could have done a lot of characters. Some didn't need send-offs. Some needed better send-offs. I don't know. Odin boiling, I like that scene a lot. I didn't love aspects of Odin's flashback, but I liked the Odin boiling scene a lot. I thought that was really, really cool. Also, Randy Troy is here, and he's saying Parvision and Evil Par, let's go. That's cool. That's how it is now. All right.
I got Randy on my side.
I think one question that we all want to know that I've been saving. So we can all tell Parvision is an acronym, right? What does each letter in Parvision stand for?
Is it? Wait, this is a theory.
I could tell right off the bat. It's obviously an acronym, right? With a very elaborate series of words that spell out a really grand statement.
That would be crazy if it were. Wait, is this a theory that you came up with?
I came up with it just now over the course of the stream.
Just now?
And I can tell I'm spot on, right? Is it an acronym? No.
It's not. It's not. It's funny because I've kept my my name under wraps recently, but it's hilarious because when I first collabed with Brago, I was nervous, and off thing. I was like, oh, I usually keep myself like private, all that stuff. And within the first minute, I essentially dox myself, and he's
What?
just like, oh, what's your name? And then what's the inspiration behind Parvision? And at this point, I don't care too much. It's
You don't have to say it
essentially
here.
my name is inside the name, so
Oh,
that's
okay.
why.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. Oh, is it like
yeah.
Arvision? Or maybe something like that.
No,
Whatever. Doesn't matter. But
yeah,
that's all right. Well, why'd
that
you?
was fun.
Okay, so you named yourself Parvision because it's part of your actual name, basically, or
Yeah,
like your
yeah.
actual name's part of it. Okay. Yeah,
Mhm.
some people have fun stories behind their names. Some people, I don't know. It's just what it is,
Just go the
basically.
boring route
Yeah,
and
just go
just
with
put their
something.
name in
Yeah,
it. How boring.
yeah. Like Randy Troy's name is really boring. Like his actual name, if you don't know, is Tandy Roy, but you just
Oh
swapped
yeah,
some letters around to make it Randy Troy. That's one of the more boring ones out there.
super boring.
Yeah. All right, man. Is there anything I think that like you feel like has happened in the? Is there anything you feel like is grossly misunderstood by the community about the Wano arc? Let me ask that. Anything you
Um,
want to, I guess, defend, or you think that people don't give credit for, or you think people get wrong? Anything like that?
I haven't, I've been focusing so much on my own theories that I haven't had to like fight people on certain things. I mean, the most recent one was the Hiyori situation, I think, because like a lot of people were attributing those words to her when she didn't say it. It was the other guy just narrating over her,
Mm-hmm.
and that whole page is just made up, right? Like none of that actually happened in the story. Like Orochi didn't get his head cut off, and then he wasn't like reacting as a decapitated head. That's what happened in this panels, and when you go back, that's actually just not what happened. um but outside of that, I mean, I think what people forget is like Wano has so much in it that it's like Oda clearly has a plan for the last saga, and everything that he's done prior, like when I mentioned before, Wano felt like all of these arcs combined, right? And when you think about how Oda's like come out and said that One Piece has been stretched out, right? And when you think about it like that, then it's kind of like, wait, if we didn't get these arcs prior, then maybe Wano was always intended to just be like this massive thing that encapsulated all these other things, and we wouldn't get all of those things as fleshed out as originally planned. So Wano is helps past arcs get better, and I'm sure it's going to make future arcs get even better than that. And one of the things is like, even with like Pluton, like when I was thinking about when we finally got the understanding that Zunisha wasn't Pluton and rather it's a crucial element to releasing Pluton, I started going back throughout Act 1 and Act 2 of Wano to see if there was more details, and there's so many like really important lines that were just like um that feel like they're going to be relevant later. So I would just say, like, you know, head canon and theory crafting aside, because like I'm not banking on any of my theories becoming true to elevate the last saga. Like there's so many different ways Oda can go, and I would just say, like, trust in the process, because we're here 25 years later, and I think we're in for a really amazing ending. I don't think that the recent criticism of various elements of Wano are going to take away from the future of One Piece, in
I
my opinion.
still strongly look forward to the. I'm with you. I strongly look forward to the future of One Piece, largely because I think at the end of the day, even if a lot of the smaller aspects of a lot of the Wano specific things that maybe people felt dissatisfied with, even if those never matter in the future, never really go anywhere, right? Like we could never see Nidai Kitetsu again. Sure. I think that Oda did everything this arc that was necessary to probably set up the final phase of the One Piece, right? So all of the big picture stuff has probably been established. So
Yeah.
in that sense, what's more important at the end of the day? I'm fine with if like all of the things that felt important in Wano never become important again, as long as like Oda set the table for a clean conclusion to One Piece, how he sees it. And I'd say like the big thing, I guess, is that like Oda's, you can tell he's always had the same ending in mind, right? Like he's likely always been working towards this transformation and everything for Luffy. I wouldn't be surprised if like Gear 2nd, 3rd, and maybe even 4th were just things that he thought up along the way before getting to this last point of Gear Fifth or whatever. I wonder if like I think that Oda's definitely always going to stick to what his final point that he wants to hit is. I think the only thing that can really mess him up is his own sort of creativity, where he wants to maybe add more things or more. Like, I don't know how much. I'm sure that the core of what Wano is was always the same from the beginning, right? Like, I'm sure he probably had the same idea for like where it ends up and like what power Luffy gets, stuff like that, and like they become Yonko and all of that stuff. But like, I wouldn't be surprised if lots of the smaller stuff were just things that he was having fun writing in along the way, and then maybe stuff like that gets out of hand past a certain point. So I'm just hoping that that's not the case for the final few arcs, which he's probably spent the most time thinking about, right?
Yeah. I think I agree. Like when I reread Act 2, I went on like another call and I was just like, there's so many. Every chapter was so packed.
Yeah.
And now my biggest question is, did it need to be that packed? And if it did need to be that packed, I'll be happier, because then that means that all of those things would be relevant in last saga.
Mm-hmm.
And I imagine not all of it would be relevant. And then those are the things that you can go back and look at and be like, Oda was having a lot of fun, and I'm curious to know what he was planning by adding this. Like maybe there was a storyline. To me, it was like when Road to Laugh-Tale got announced, and it was like prior to it, it was like, oh, these are going to be the scrapped ideas that like he didn't use or whatever. And we didn't really we got like concept art, but it wasn't like, Crystal Log Ship Pose. Do you know about that movie?
No.
So Strong World is the first movie that Oda like directed and produced, right? That wasn't the first movie he wrote though. Crystal Logship Pose was the first movie he wrote, and he wrote it entirely, and then he scrapped it for Strong World. And I was like, is that something we'd get? Because he talked about it in an interview, and I'm like, that is something I've said many times. I was like, I would legit go dumpster diving for that. I would go find out. I would commit a crime for that, for those things. And some of these points in Wano where it's like, if they don't get used, I'm like, man, what did Oda have planned? I really would like to know. And hopefully, maybe at the end of the series, Oda might do that, might show us a glimpse of the things he had planned. Because my perspective is that like One Piece is like maybe 30% of the content that he has like in his bank, right? Like I think about the prime example is Gaimon being like his favorite character, and then like we got introduced to him like chapter 20 or something, chapter 21. And then 600 chapters later, he gives him a wife or a girlfriend who's Sarfunkel, and the pun being Gaimon and Sarfunkel, which is a pun that was set up long ahead of time. And it's like, how minute of a detail is that? How many more things does Oda have in mind like that, right? Yeah. I would love to see that.
All right, no, I feel you. I think he's a guy that's endlessly creative, probably to a fault at certain points, but I mean, that's why. The thing I'll always say about One Piece is that there's no other series I can imagine spending this much time talking and theorizing about, because there's just so much shit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure some of those really long fantasy epics and everything like that, but like, One Piece has a certain degree of charm and like, small little nooks and crannies of the world with like fun little characters and everything like that. I just don't think it's quite the same.
I can make theories that can reasonably convince some people, and people who don't want to believe it, that like Mihawk is a sword or Vanderdecken is a mushroom, and like the Vanderdecken is a mushroom one is just canon. Like that one is just true.
I've literally never heard that one. I've heard Mihawk is a sword, but I've not heard Vanderdecken is a mushroom. Yeah,
Vanderdecken. I mean, I can give you the lowdown real quick, but like, Vanderdecken is a fishman, right?
Yeah.
He's a Japanese bull shark, which is like they call it cat shark.
Okay.
And with fishmen, it's upper body fish, lower body human, right? But Vanderdecken's lower body is really weird, right? He has 4 legs.
Yeah.
And so it's like, wait, there was no other fisherman that had 4 legs unless they were a merman or mermaid. Hyozo was a octopus merman, so that's why he had multiple tentacles, right? And so we do know that there is crossbreeding. There's lots of hybrid humans in fishmen. We got Chimney, for example, who is like super diluted. Then there's Dellinger, who's fighting fish human to the point where he could like rip out his teeth and then his fishman teeth come out. So there's various variations, but there's not a single human that we've seen with 4 legs. And so what we can gather from the original Vanderdecken, and there's more in the video, but the original Vanderdecken probably wasn't from Fishman Island because he was said to be lured down to Fishman Island for the prophecy of Poseidon. So that already implies that the original Vanderdecken might not have been a fishman. And there's only one race in all of One Piece that has 4 legs. And do you know which one it is?
Give me 1 second. One race and one... I don't see how it's going to be mushroom as the correct answer. One race in One Piece that has 4 legs. Dude, I don't know. I don't know.
So we were shown in Mont Duor's book of Big Mom's collection of races as they flipped by. There was one race. It was the Kinoko Bito, which means mushroom man. And so that was the only creature in all of One Piece that had 4 legs. And so
you're right. Yeah, you're actually just right. Okay, you're right. Because that's the only species. So that's the only one that... Okay.
Until Oda shows me another one with 4 legs, Vanderdecken's ancestor is a mushroom. That's my take.
Okay, the way you said he's a mushroom is what probably throws most people, but I get you now. If it's like an established race in One Piece, I'm behind it. Makes sense. Okay, no, that's actually canon to me too, because it's like... That doesn't make sense unless it... Yeah, no. It all makes sense.
Yeah, if there was other fishermen with 4 legs, I'd be like, all right, but there aren't. I looked through enough panels to see, and there wasn't. So.
All right, you all heard it here. Vanderdecken is a mushroom. I'm gonna pull up some supers, and we're gonna turbo through what we missed. Give me 1 second. It'll be speed round basically. All right. So let's say every answer has to be in 6 words or less. And then God, I think we'll try it like that.
All right, I'll be counting. If you go over 6 words, then I get to go over 6 words.
Okay, that's fair. 1 sec.
Bro, you need a second monitor.
I do. Come on, wait, just don't embarrass me like that in front of everybody. They don't know they don't need to know. I'm kidding. They obviously know I need another monitor. But shit. I need another monitor. I'll get one for next week's stream. You all will see. All right,
cool. I like how I said like, yo, you need a new chair, and then the next stream you got a new chair. So
yeah, that's true. I think it definitely adds more pressure when other YouTubers come in and tell me things. So like chat and my mods can tell me for like years, like, hey Morj, your audio is terrible, your web camera stuff is terrible. But if like Roger comes in once and is like, Morj, your audio is kind of bad, I'm like, I gotta get to Amazon right now, fix this shit right away.
Facts. I mean, I feel the same way too. It's like if another creator came in like you're, but I hope you don't take it like that. I'm not like coming.
No, I'm kidding. I probably won't even get another monitor next week. I'll get one soon because I do want another monitor. All right, I think here's what we missed. All right, we got 6 words or less for all of these. Where are we at? Where did Parvision join? Covered this. Okay.
How do you even view your super chats like that? What the heck?
So you can go to monetization tab, like on the side, and then you can open up. Yeah. I'm having to do a whole thing. Thing.
Okay.
I hate having to go here because it just makes me slow down the whole stream. So I try and keep up with it, but inevitably I just end up having to go here. All right.
Yeah.
Mr. Crescent says, I really feel like Luffy was just about to dip from Wano and Momo just barely stopped him in time, and Luffy didn't know what to do, so he just handed him one of his Jolly Rogers and said the right thing. Distasteful Oda. Shake my head. Okay, Mr. Crescent was joking, so we can move on. Flame Emperor says, if only Parvision had some Raycons. Hey, do you have some Raycons?
I don't, but hey, if you're sponsored.
Yeah, no, I could hook you up with the code for a discount. Just go to raycon.com/
I don't get the creator buff.
You get 10% off. You get 10%. Well, everyone's essentially creator.
I could show them on stream and say, hey, use Morj's code. What is this? What is this business deal that's going on right now?
All right, Dandaman says, oh, snap, good versus evil Morj. Looking forward to the stream. Shout out to Parvision. Brandon King says, what do you expect from Bonnie, Kuma, Sorbet? All right, in 6 words.
6 words, okay. I I don't care. I need Kuma. 6 words.
Oh, that's
That's
pretty
my
good.
answer.
All right, that's pretty good. But this rule will actually probably slow us down pretty hard because we're trying to. All right, we'll just keep
China's
it short. Hidden Island, we already covered you. He said, wow, this Parvision guy is pretty cool. Alexander Grayson says, do you think any of the unresolved plot points are. No, we covered this. Covered this. John Ross said, new Straw Hats, lol. Oda said, LMAO. Grizzly Adam says, isn't it exciting to have a hard road. To not have a hard roadmap for the first time in 10 years? I became a weekly reader during Punk Hazard, so this is a new and exciting feeling. How do you feel about that? It doesn't have to be 6 words.
I think we don't know the roadmap, but Oda knows the roadmap for a viewer perspective. I'm just excited because like this is uncharted territory, and I can't wait to see what Oda does right with Uncharted.
Yeah, I kind of assumed that
I haven't done.
I was under the assumption Elbaf would just be directly next, but I thought there was like an interview or something Oda released that suggested that Elbaf is not next and that it's like Sphinx Island or something like that. Might be completely wrong, but
yeah, Vera or
Sphinx. A rumor. I don't know. Samuel Hart says, failed to see the point of Odin as a whole in the arc. Really enjoyed his character, but it seems like any parallels were completely dropped in Act 3. I'm going to save my thoughts on that for my analysis video because it's like a complicated topic. I do think that Odin definitely mattered to the arc, but I think I would have loved if his story had a more concrete tie to a lot of the themes. It has a tangential tie to a lot of the themes of the arc, but I feel like it's not concretely like the centerpiece of what Wano is actually about. It's just the centerpiece of like what sparked the plot, which is a little different. So that's my take on it.
Yeah, I would just say that I think what a lot of people wanted to have is be able to speak about Odin as his own character, whereas like it might be more fruitful to talk about Odin through the lens of the characters he affected, and that's kind of the impact. And I think that's his role in the story, anyways. But personally, I acknowledge that, but I still really like Odin, and I wish like we got to know a little bit more, and he felt like a little bit more impactful. But at the end, he kind of took an L with what he did. So it is what it is.
Gary Grant says Oda already said that all of the questions will be answered in this last saga in one of his latest interviews, so just be patient and enjoy the ride. I mean, to that I say, like, I don't think Oda ever means literally all the questions. So, like, I don't think he's thinking about I think he's talking about all the big picture questions, which I do believe he'll answer. Unrivaled said, how about an Elbaf Report podcast with Parvision? Oh, dude, I can't do, like, a weekly One Piece podcast again. I do one for my Patreons, but I can't do one, like, that sit down with another person again. I don't know if you know this, but O'Hara and I used to do a Wano Report podcast, which is basically like a weekly podcast talking about Wano. Past a certain point, we were just in such different time zones that it was difficult to coordinate. And also, like, I talk One Piece so much, I can't do it.
You're burnt out.
Yeah, I'm burnt. I can't do it in like a podcast setting week after week for like an hour, 2 hours, basically with different guests at this point. So like,
if you want to do a monthly thing, I'm down.
No, I'll do it. If you host me on your channel next, I'll happily join. Just give me the heads up. Flame Emperor says, Oof is the #1 One Piece TikToker. Young Usopp says, hey, Parvision and Morj, could Yamato have stayed in Wano due to her devil fruit? No, we covered this. Goomba Boomba, we covered you. Caleb Brown, yep, we covered you. Adrian Akeen says, I think people are overly critical. Nope, we covered this. Young Usopp says, if not Yamato, then who could be the last member? We kind of talked about that. Flame Emperor says, a lot of setup dropped, but most setup minus potential Zoro connections weren't that interesting. I just wanted the raid to fail, to be honest. That's more of a statement than anything. Dripty Sauce says, you're going to see a lot of raid fail fans on this channel, particularly. Dude, it's funny because like, no, streaming here like fools me because it's literally the effect of an echo chamber. I go to other places and I talk about the raid failing and like on other YouTubers streams or whatever, and all the people in chat are like more just being crazy and stuff again. I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm not in my own stream. I want my echo chamber back.
It was funny that one time it was like around 10:49, 10:50. You put the poll up. How many people still think the raid is failing? And it was like 70 or 80%. And you're like, yeah, this is my stream.
In the real world, it's like a solid 10%. Dripty Sauce says if Sanji kept his raid suit, he'd be tussling with admirals. I don't think the raid suit was that big of a buff personally. I think it was like solid, but I think the Germa enhancements were much bigger.
Yeah, I think my understanding is that he's stronger now without the raid suit.
Yeah,
and I kind of want to feel like that. Like, isn't the whole understanding that he absorbed like whatever he was supposed to get from the raid suit? I don't know.
Different people say it different way. Like, it's
and
like
for
the
that to be
raid suit
unclear
yeah.
is annoying.
Yeah, I don't know. I took it as like he's got the same Germa body his brothers have, and the raid suit would be nice, like cherry on top. But he's still plenty strong without that cherry on top, basically. Benjamin Lewis says thoughts on the anime being more canon than manga at this point. Like I could see Wano being fleshed out when it hits the anime, Yamato especially. I just personally don't care. Like I think that's perfectly possible. I just personally don't care because I'm not gonna slog through the entire Wano anime just to see certain moments, basically. You know what I mean?
But I am. So if you guys want to, I have a watch party on Saturdays for the anime.
Oh, do you do it on Twitch?
Yeah, I do it on Twitch. So it's a lot of fun. If you're planning on watching the movie Red, the last 2 episodes, 1029, 1030, 1031, I would recommend watching those for sure.
They connect into the film, right?
Yeah, and I've talked to people who like Hidden Island. He got to watch it in Japan, like first person to watch it.
Oh, wow.
And he, me and him talked a bunch yesterday about it on my stream. But at the end of the day, what he was saying that if you haven't watched the movie, definitely watch these episodes first because they might enhance your experience about the movie. So
I see Randy.
They're really good. I like it.
Yeah, no, I mean like I wasn't gonna watch film Red, but I think I am gonna at this point just because I saw clips and stuff of certain fights happening, and I was just like, I'm just a sucker. I want to see that in theaters probably at some point. So I'll probably end up watching film Red. I'm not big on the One Piece movies personally. Randy's saying Yamato's a plot device at this point. I agree. I think that I saw Randy talking in the group chat a little bit about this. I know his thoughts on it, and I do generally agree, basically.
I have my own thoughts. I think at the moment, Yamato very strongly got relegated to Momo more so. Like she became a package. Like earlier I've been saying she's a package deal with Momo, but it's almost like everything about her has to revolve around Momo. And I think a lot of people wanted Yamato to be her own character.
Yeah, I mean, she's literally... From the start, even before the Momo stuff, we wanted her to, like, she was...
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I think it's just... It is what it is. You can make a really good case that everything that happened would have, even with Momo's character, was feasible without Yamato, and I think it would have actually been stronger if the changes that he went through were in tandem with a character that wasn't Yamato, like I feel like Luffy could have given him a lot of the same speeches or bits of motivation that Yamato did, and I think it would have been more meaningful. And then I think, or you could swap it even for a Kinemon or someone, even a Zoro, who was starting to get a bit of relationship or dynamic with Momo at points. So I don't know. I don't think that extra. I'm biased against Yamato, so I'm just gonna leave it basically.
Well, actually, a question. I don't know if you'd include this in your thing, so that's why I'd ask it. Is how late in the game do you think Oda brought in Yamato? Was it always planned for Wano, or is that kind of like something that developed later on?
The trick, dude, I have no idea. Like, what's your thought on it?
I think the placeholder of Kaido having a kid was always there. Yamato being that character. At this point, it does feel like Oda added it in at this point. And I don't know how, like, I have to do more figuring out, because if it was always a play, then you wouldn't have various people saying like, it's not her character. Momo would have been had a stronger development without Yamato, right? So then that kind of feels like Yamato was kind of added in at the end, and to the point we talked about earlier, right? Oda had a lot of fun with Wano, and we don't know which parts of it was the ones that he wanted to extend. Yamato might have been that one. But the one thing that hanging on my head is the whole Yamato Ace connection and tying Ace into Luffy and the introduction. That is like the one part, but it's like, did it have to be Yamato, or could it just have been Kaido's kid, a different version, an alternate version of Kaido's kid? So I don't know necessarily. I guess we'll see in the next chapters how much exposition Oda does for Wano post Wano, which is a possibility. We saw it with Fishman Island a little bit, so can't say for certain.
If I had to guess, I guess I would say that Oda maybe did plan Yamato or a concept of Yamato just because the Momotaro story, which it seems like Oda did want to stick with at the end of the day. So it's like he wrote in Luffy the monkey, he wrote in Hiyori, maybe he was looking for the dog. But like, you're right, Ace is the one thing where it's like, okay, this seems like, to me at the same time, it does feel as though everything all the context surrounding Yamato feels very convenient in that it seems like she could have just been made up later on, in that it's like, okay, so she has no connection. She wasn't in the country of Wano or anything. She didn't experience any of the stuff that happened, but she had Odin's diary. And because she basically got all of her motivations from Odin's diary, it's very easy to write in a character with very minimal, like, actually life experience or relevance to the prior story, because she's getting all of her character set up from reading a book. And then, like, tying in the Ace thing, well, you could have just made that up. He's like, how do I make her feel even more like, oh, how do I tie... Ace could easily be a setup to basically be like, well, Yamato has to like Luffy right away because we won't have much time for her to get to like Luffy, so let me just have her have met Ace beforehand, and therefore her meeting Luffy is an easy check mark. So yeah, it's just hard to say. Anyway,
just curious on your thoughts. Hey, wait, we're almost at 1,000 likes on this stream.
Oh, good
I think
shit.
if 200 more and then Morj does the Bollywood dance.
You should have to do. Wait, what? You should have to do it. Parvision should have to do it. Why don't you ask him to do the Bollywood dance? He's here too. What? This seems so... I feel like you should have to do it. They just make me do it because I'm Indian, but you're also brown. I feel like that's close enough. Like, come on.
Hey, man, if we get to 2,000 likes, both of us will do a Bollywood
dance. That's a guarantee. Right? 2,000 likes, guaranteed Bollywood dance. If we get to... What are we at right now for likes?
We're at 800.
Oh, 800. If we get to 1,000 likes, Parvision will come stream with me every day for the rest of the year. So just see if you guys can hit that.
Hey,
that's a guarantee. It's a guarantee. Tripty Sauce says, if not, no, we covered this. Caleb Brown says, you want Kaido to show up for a future plot point?
It feels... my take with Kaido and Big Mom is that they are going to be brought back in the story. I'm not going to theory craft on why, because I just think that Oda's just going to do it randomly. I'm not too happy with the end part. Mainly, it's like, if they died, stay dead, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like they're going to stay dead, which is the problem here, right? If they're going to die, just kill them. Just straight out kill them. Don't bring them back to a random crazy plot that just, oh, we made a house in the volcano in the magma. Like, no, I don't want that. Like, you know what I mean? So whatever Oda does, it's going to be harder than it would be to just have them killed or bring them back in the arc. By bringing them back later, it's harder. I'm just going to leave it to Oda. If Oda does it, whatever. I have no thoughts otherwise.
All right. And we're basically at the end, the Purple Straw saying, what do you guys think happened to the rest of the Warlords? Quick guesses.
I mean, we know what happened to Buggy and Mihawk. The other ones left are Weevil, Boa, right? Those are the other two?
Yeah, Weevil, Boa.
Boa is an interesting one. People are like, oh, Kobe clapped her, and all puns intended. But I think the Boa situation is going to be more complicated. It's probably going to be like they bonded over Luffy or something, and like with how creative Cross Guild is, I imagine Boa's gonna get a creative situation as well. Weevil's the only one where I have no idea. Is he the 10th Titanic captain? Is he the Cross Guild? Is he captured? I don't think he's captured.
It is very hard to see how Weevil fits into all of this, but
yeah,
he's gonna somehow. All right, we're almost done. Cigar Verk says, George and Par, any thoughts about Zoro plotline? You got like one word for it? 2 words?
Zoro's a plant. We'll leave it there.
Caleb Brown says, shouts to Randy, Hidden Island, and Recon Legends. Okay, so they had nothing to say about us. That's cool. We're the ones who've been running this stream the entire time. They're just chilling in chat. Young Usopp says, what are your opinions on the info on the Haki of Shanks' crew? Yeah, you excited for that?
So that's Volume 4 Billion. I've heard about it. I haven't read it. Have you read the Volume 4 Billion stuff?
I think I've just seen on Twitter basically what people are saying about it. So it's some crazy stuff like Beckman might have Haki as strong or stronger than Admiral or something like that, or like some vague things I've been seeing. Shanks is he kills. Yeah,
I've been hearing
Operation
whispers
Haki.
Unfortunately due to comments where I'm like, is this? And then I've heard from other creators like, oh, that's Volume 4 Billion. So it's like not super spoilery.
Okay.
Heard a bit, but I've been waiting. I have a few Haki videos that are coming out. Apparently they line up with the things. That's why I haven't been reading them. But yeah, I mean, I said this to Cole. I said, whatever is next, it's going to be something completely unimaginable that we haven't seen.
Yeah.
And I've been saying that. And then we got Hockey Talkie or Mind Rope from Shanks, that crazy display of Conqueror's Hockey, that's just the tip of the iceberg in my opinion. So it's going to be wild for sure.
Fatty2497 says Wano would be 10 out of 10 if Kaido bit Raizo's head off. I think Kaido should have killed someone in my opinion. Sheriff Lafitte says, yeah, just someone.
He killed Dripper, right? He killed
Dripper. Is that even confirmed? Is he definitely dead? How do we know? I would not be surprised if we see him lined up with CP0 next time with some bandages around his head. You know how One Piece rolls. Sheriff Lafitte says you have Marine matchups for the other Straw Hats. I wouldn't go through a bunch of those right now.
I don't have a take on that.
Yeah. Nate Mate says, Morj, what do you think about Wano having literally more depth when we return than we first thought? Return might be centered around opening the borders. Defensive prejudice keeps Wano safe versus freedom and danger. Sure, maybe some cool stuff, but as we talked about earlier in the stream, like that seems like a lot to flesh out over the course of the next, there's just so much time to really go through stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't think we ever the Straw Hats aren't coming back to Wano, right? Like maybe part of the crew, maybe, but like I don't see like a devoted like trip back.
Mr. Crescent's, well, we still got that theory on Reddit I have to read. I gotta read that. Who knows? I'm probably not gonna read that AJK, I'm so sorry. Please don't leave me. Please don't leave forever in anger, but I will read that one, I swear. Next time.
He's more mad at me than you, don't you?
Yeah, it's evil. You know what evil Morj is gonna do. That's just it's classic evil Morj. All right, Mr. Crescent says, I feel like Shanks will just meet Luffy in Laugh-Tale and not Elbaf. He said it's still early and the only thing left for Luffy is to become Pirate King. Maybe, I think he'll be in Elbaf, but I don't know. Okay, this question I do want to know your take on. Isaiah Davis says, did Kaido use Awakening? What do you think? Was he using Awakening?
No, I don't think so.
No,
I don't think so.
He just lost without using Awakening?
It just, because even with the Road to Laugh-Tale discussion, it was like there was supposed to be a notable personality change that Oda or the Road to Laugh-Tale emphasized in a Zoan Awakening, and the drunk part was like, I think a lot of people regard the drunk part of Kaido as like the peak level of his showing. Beyond him holding off the flaming dragon thing, but I think when Oda said, like, I was like, is this Awakening? I don't know, but when Oda wrote that in the Road to Laugh-Tale thing, that the Zoan Awakening, there's like a personality change that is notable. I was like, okay, I don't think that this was Awakening, because throughout the entire thing, Kaido was still Kaido. Whether you say he's a fraud or whatever, he still was very much the same person, just drunk or angry or whatever, right? It wasn't ever like hey, this is a different Kaido. He's not saying the same things, right? So I don't know, and that's another thing, right? Did Big Mom use her Awakening? We're saying the 3 monster captains all awakened, but the Yonko didn't. I don't know. And then it's like, are they just gonna show up awakened in the last arc or last saga, and then they just get fodderized because the power ceiling raised so much that they're not even like super threats? Like, I don't even know what we're doing, right? Like, that's why it's like Kaido should just stay dead. It's fine, but like he's probably coming back.
I didn't know that about the Zoan Awakening emotional state change, so that's actually really good to hear, because it confirms more in my mind that Kaido was not awakened. And I agree with everything you just said. The fact that Kaido and Big Mom did not have confirmed awakenings, it's just wild. It's crazy. Like, you have all the good guys using this specific power up, and it's like, and now you guys, yes, at least tell us if you've been using it. Like, it's just such a natural question. I don't think that's anything to do with like reader expectations or not expectations. It's a natural, normal question to have, like, knowing that this is an ability that's being really hyped up and played up, right? It's one of the things was that the moment that Luffy and Kaido used Advanced Conqueror's Haki to split the sky, right? So it was established, okay, they both have this. What Oda did, I didn't like it, but I liked one part of this, was like a chapter later, he had Big Mom take out page 1 with clearly Advanced Conqueror's Haki, because he did the whole visual the same way Luffy was fighting, of like a big buffer between the two of them, like empty space and lightning and everything. So it's like immediately after that he confirmed, and Big Mom has it too. Why not do that with Awakening? Like, he made it so clear that Kaido and Big Mom, Kaido has Future Sight, he made that clear. He made it clear Kaido has Advanced Conqueror's Haki. He made it clear Big Mom has Advanced Conqueror's Haki. But it's Awakening, he was like, whatever.
And it hurt more that Kaido is the one who's like, this is what an Awakening is.
And it's like, all right, and it's like,
yeah, and then Big Mom's out here just getting slapped around by awakenings, and she's just like, I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna even talk about it. So it's like,
what could they possibly be doing to me?
Yeah, it's so weird.
Yeah,
it's so
Sampat
weird.
Sakesh Ravolparthi says, hey Morj, since we're heading towards an island near the next calm belt, would it have any significance? What do you think is the next island? I mean, your guess on next island?
I'm leaning more towards Vera, but I do like the Sphinx idea. But I like Vera more so. The options being Vera, Pirate Island, and Elbaf Law going to Elbaf, Kid going to Pirate Island because he's bad luck, and then Vera being like, we get the revolutionaries. It was just mentioned to us in the Road to Laugh Tale, and a few other reasons, and maybe Sphinx Island is high second for me.
And TRKiz said Yamato was Oda stealing Tama's Ace connection, Kinemon's Momo connection, and Carrot's dream to see the dawn. So I guess you could look at her like that if you so chose. But, you know. All right, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed having Parvision on. His stream or his channel it exists. Go check it out. Go sub. He's a really, really good theorist. Up and coming. I don't really know what else to say. Parvision, where can they find you?
Yeah, so main channel, Parvision. I have that's where I do a lot of my theories. I'm going to start posting a lot more. The Void Century video is the big one coming up. A lot of people want the Elemental Hockey one. But other than that, I stream nearly 3 times a week, and all the VODs get posted on my second channel, Parvision VODs. So if you enjoyed having me on the stream and enjoyed the time, you're going to enjoy those videos. And then also Morj put out a lot of bets, like if you get did we hit 1,000 likes? Did we? We're 50, so you guys don't get every day stream with me and Morj.
Good.
But
dodged the bullet there. All right.
Yeah, maybe we get more Morj and Parvision in the future, and maybe it'll be on my channel. And so thank you, Morj, for having me on.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely. This is a fun chapter to talk about because it was right at the end of Wano.
It was
and
a spicy
1057 was a spicy one. And you're known to be... It was funny. People were like, are you spicy, Morj? And I was like, dang, is that a meme that we're starting? Like, but yeah, so definitely appreciate the conversation. Glad got to talk to you, Morj.
All right. You too, Parvision. It was great having you.